Hi guys, so thanks for joining me again at Handlebars and Holidays. This is all about the Pannier Kit for the Rocket 3 GT and R. Back in a sec. So these are the Triumph Sport Panniers. They come in at something in the region of 1,020 Australian dollars, I think. They're quite a nice unit. We'll have a proper look at them in a little while. This is the mounting kit, which is a completely separate part number, has to be ordered separately. And amazingly, the mounting kit is about 760 Australian dollars. Having said that, they are an extremely nice, well-made piece of engineering. They really are. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but they are a lovely finish. So the first thing, if you feel you need instructions, would be to head over to triumphinstructions.com and you can download yourself this fairly comprehensive, overly comprehensive really, set of instructions. It's all pretty obvious, but just for the point of showing you what's what, I thought I would print them off. So first things first, let's get the seat off the bike. Okay, so seat removed, and the first thing that we need to do is remove the under tray from under there. So it's these two bolts, one here and one here, that hold that under tray in place, and they're just a 5mm Allen key. This little thing can just be removed out the way just for a bit of easier access. I assume that's what Triumph connect their diagnostic thing to, and that just clips in there, and again that can just be pulled out the way to give you a bit more space. So these two tiny screws removed, the under tray can now be slid downwards or towards the front of the bike and will just slide out. So once those screws are out, that just comes out like that. And those were the fixing positions that that was held in by. Those are the little side lugs. The new one is essentially the same, just with 4 holes. Triumph could almost have made this a lot easier for themselves by making some push-outable holes in the original, but hey, what would have been quite nice if Triumph had have put the little clips on there. They haven't, so you need to remove them from the original and transfer them onto the new one. They just slide off quite easily. Okay, so the under tray just goes in under there. Okay, it's a little bit fiddly to slide that in underneath just to make sure that all 4 of those clips are seated, but it's doable. And then obviously those 2 screws just go back in place. Okay, so that's the under the seat aspect completed. One of the things that you do have to be especially careful of is on this near side front lug there. I don't know if you can catch that, but there is just below where the torch is shining there is a section of wiring loom that you want to be really careful not to trap. So just inside there, just make sure that's pushed up and out of the way. So now it's simply a case of taking the bracket itself and bolting it on up through the holes in the under tray on each side. They don't actually mention it in the kit, but I just like the idea of putting a little bit of Loctite thread lock on the bolts just to prevent any possible vibrating loose. There's a nice clean gap. Everything's kept away from the bodywork, so there's no chance of damage. Okay, so once those brackets are fitted on both sides, that is essentially the only potentially tricky bit of the whole thing done. And that is the bracket itself. Okay, let's get the seat back on. Okay, so the next stage is to fit these locks into the panniers. Now these actually come with the bike. When you buy the bike, Triumph give you these additional locks just in case you buy the panniers, which is good because obviously these are keyed to the same ignition key as the bike. Okay, this is interesting. Just had a little bit of a panic for a second. So these are the version 2 panniers, which are the 25-litre version. And as opposed to version 1, these locks are now on the front of the pannier. And having seen pictures and such like of the other ones, I was expecting the locks to be on the back here. So I just offered the bags up to the brackets, and everything was wrong. I thought, have I put these brackets on wrong? Are they the wrong way around? Obviously they're not. They've just changed the panniers, and now the locks are on the front. So let's get back to sorting the keys out. Okay, so the key goes into the lock barrel like that, turns through 90 degrees. You can then release the barrel from its protective sleeve, and this goes into the bike. Let's just whiz this over here. Goes in like that, pushes down that way around. It'll only go in one way. Like that, and you turn the key and out you go, and then basically that will just push on there and she's locked in. So there she blows to release the panniers. Key in, quarter turn, off it pops. You can literally just lift the bag away, and if the panniers aren't going on, keep the bike nice and neat. There you go. It really is as easy as that. You just simply line up the little slots there, sit that on there and there, a little bit tricky with one hand, push it in at the top, you hear the click, done. How's about that? Nothing wrong with that, is there? So the pannier locks, which are very much like suitcase locks, actually come set from the factory at 000, so it's as simple as that. To change the code on the locks, all you do is there's a tiny little hole there to put something in, push it till it clicks, set them to whatever you want, 9, 8, 9 there in that case, and you push that button and that's your new code set. Simple as that. So you can change that as many times as you like simply by pushing that little button there and resetting to anything you like. Push that and your new code is set. So let's just have a quick look at these version 2 panniers, because this is where things change quite a bit from the original version. So as they come from the factory, you have to excuse the one hand struggling, basically you've now got this situation. So what they've done here is they've given us an integrated waterproof bag. So essentially there was problems with the original version leaking, and they gave you a kind of an over bag. What they've done now is integrated this bag. That's Velcro, so that's going to be hard. Just bear with me 1 second. So essentially what you've got there is a waterproof bag inside the pannier. As you can see, it's zipped in. So anything you put in there and fasten it with the Velcro, strap it back up if you wish, and tuck that away in there, is definitely going to stay dry. Now the other option, and what I'm going to opt for, so in my case what I'm going to do with this internal bag is I've unzipped the whole thing. I'm just going to take that out, not bother with it, use the pannier as is there. For the amount of rain that we get in Western Australia, it really doesn't matter. There will still be a certain amount of weather protection obviously from there, and yes, if I was touring and taking a load of clothing I would certainly put that back in just to be on the safe side, but that's a better option for me for now, just easier than messing with that bag all the time. It's there to be zipped in if needed. Okay folks, so that's the panniers all done and fitted. So by the magical time machine that YouTube can be, let's jump a few rides into the future and see what we think of them. Okay, so a few days later, and I've had a couple of little trips out on the bike and used the panniers a couple of times. Everything's going well, got no real problems. One tiny little frustration, that's all. Okay, so in general terms of functionality, no real issues there. I'll just flick that open, a bit awkward with one hand, but tons of room. I've just popped my little tubeless tyre repair kit in there. But yeah, plenty of room, no issues with the actual functionality of the bags. The thing that I find frustrating is obviously you tend to get off the bike to the left-hand side. So when you look at these locks, which I do think are a bit of a strange choice for Triumph to have gone for, more suited to a suitcase. But you're looking at them from this side, and if you check out those numbers there, that's currently showing 1197, but they're actually upside down. So depending on whether you've put them in intending to read 197 or 791, whichever way, they're upside down. If I look at this side, they're the right way up, but to literally walk round, having got off the bike, to walk round this side, to look at the numbers the right way up and put your code in, and then walk back round to open the bag, would just be frustrating. So you tend to just struggle with the fact that the numbers are upside down. And of course, when you go around that side, they're upside down too. When you stand around here, they're upside down too. So that's a little bit odd. If Triumph had come up with some way of giving you some more barrels and putting another key operated thingy on there, or making their own combination lock, that would have been much better. That really is the only frustration for me. Okay, so I'm quite happy with the panniers, to be honest. I think they do exactly what I expected them to do. The locks are a little bit of a frustration, if I'm honest, but it's not the end of the world. So hopefully this has been of some use to someone. If you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I will be back with you again soon with something else. So take care, and as always, ride safe.